like to start off talking about you as an artist, what you're trying to do artistically, how you see yourself.
Well, I guess I basically fancy myself as a storyteller and, kind of a bit of a night watchman or a private investigator, I sleep with one eye open, and I write and about the things I see around me.
I was reading an article with Ricky Lee Jones, and she was saying that you have become that person. At first it was more of an observation, and you became that character that you talk about in your songs through living it, through having to live it as an artist. Do you relate to that?
Yeah, well, she's right. It's a dangerous business, It's I don't know. It's like I was saying before. It's kind of like a photographer going to a wedding and ending up married. So you're bound to get a little on you. You go poking your nose in down the wrong street. I'm as far as being a character in my own stories, I remain in all of the stories, but at the same time, I think the creative process is like it's like gumbo. It's a combination of imagination and experience and memories, and so by the time the story is finished or the song is finished, it may or may not resemble where the story came from. I mean, often one uses a metaphor for something else. I got a buddy of mine named Paul Hampton who wrote a song called 2 Hour Honeymoon. It's about a car accident. What it was, he was married to this rich girl in Manhattan. She had like $5 million, and they broke up, in about 2 days, which was that's a real disaster. Guy went from rags to riches and back to rags again. So he wrote a story which was about a car accident, using that as a metaphor for the breaking up of their marriage. So I do that as well.
Which came first for you in your, creative growing? Were you first a musician, or were you into poetry, or what was it?
I was a dishwasher and a cook. That's what I was. And a damn good one, I might say.
What do you like cooking best?
Oh, my lasagna was talked about all over town.
Have you ever been busted before? Have you ever been busted before?
Yes, I've been busted. For just small things. Yeah, I never did no hard time or anything. I've been in the barbed wire hotel a couple of times. I have 6 albums out and a record.
Do you write poetry a lot, or do you see very many poets or contemporary poets around the country now?
No, I don't get out much. I'm working all the time, and I'm doing one-nighters and leaving after the gig and getting into town in the afternoon and going to a sound check, and so I don't really go out to clubs much. When I get some time to myself, I usually could use about 12 hours of sleep. And so that's just the way it is. When I'm home, I go out to clubs sometimes, but if there's somebody in town I want to see, but you know, when you work, you know, in theaters and clubs all the time, you know, when you get a couple of nights off, you usually don't want to go out to a club, you know. You kind of want to, you know, lay around and watch television, you know.
Well, you've been pretty busy these past few years. You know, you've been involved in Paradise Alley. You were acting in that, and you've done the text for a book.
I haven't finished that, but I've started a collection of paintings by Guy Pilar, who is a Belgian painter who lives in Paris, France. And he did about 80 portraits of American heroes, and I'm in the process of doing the text for that collection, like emotional profiles. That's what they are, you know.
What is it, mostly poetry that you're doing?
Well, yeah, I guess you could call it that, you know, but it's, you know, just, you know, word salad, you know, yeah.
Well, with all these things you're doing, that's a hell of a lot of time. How do you deal with it? You don't get much sleep, I don't imagine. You don't get much time to do what you want to do. What happens?
I don't know. Yeah, I find time when I'm home, you know, to try and relax. It's, you know, build up a great deal of anxiety on the road that you have to kind of learn how to unwind when you get back home, you know.
Back home is L.A., right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you do when you're usually home? Do you see much of Ricky Lee Jones at all?
Yeah, I see Ricky, yeah. Yeah, she's doing just fine, you know. I think she's in Olympia, Washington right now, visiting her mother. She just had a birthday, and I'll see her when I get back home. Huh? Yeah, Ricky was it's kind of an interesting success story. You know, she went from, you know, I knew Ricky when she was nothing, and she hasn't changed a bit. She's doing real well. She's staying home and writing now. She'll go out on the road probably, you know, I don't know, maybe in the summer or something. This business can be real tiresome, you know. The scheduling and all the traveling, if you're not used to it, it's like a muscle, you know. You really have to get it in shape in order to be able to make it, you know.
How do you feel now?
How do I feel? Yeah. Fine.
You mentioned earlier about Ricky Lee a little bit. You said that you were, I don't know, you didn't really state anything directly. You told me that this business can be pretty debilitating, you know, that it can get on people pretty much. And you said that Ricky was pretty busy. Yeah. I don't know what that implied, but...
Well, just that, you know, you go from, you know, when they shoot you full of self-confidence, it's a little hard to swallow, you know. People telling you're you know, the greatest and a genius, and you know, what a golfer, what a father, what an American, you know. You start buying all that garbage, you know, you're in trouble. You know, it's one thing to, you know, be complimented and receive a certain amount of recognition, you know, and it's fine. I think you just have to keep it in perspective, you know. And when you have a chance to, like, grow up with it, you know, and a little bit at a time, it's different than, you know, having somebody, you know, slap you in the face with it, you know, overnight. And Ricky got a great deal of recognition immediately, and so she, you know, she just had to, you know, deal with a lot of personal stuff, like, you know, because of that. You know, it's difficult being in the public eye sometimes, you know. Damned if you do and damned if you don't, you know. Yeah. But she's doing fine.
How do you write when you're on the road? Can you write when you're on the road?
I'm writing now. I'm writing an album. Well, finishing writing of an album. It's called On Heart Attack and Vine.
Heart Attack and Vine.
Tales of Woe from Heart Attack and Vine.
Is it the same kind of stuff that you're doing now?
It's gonna be, I think it's gonna be a little more in the kind of sound a little more like James Brown and the Famous Flames, that kind of feel to it. I gotta shake this old wino image, you know. Gotta do something for our young people. Oh, hell, I bought a new suit and everything. You know, and this thing isn't even in color, you know. I wasted all this money.
Are there any poets or any other creative people who that you look up to and that you maybe you seek guidance or suggestions from?
Guidance? You mean?
Well, or advice in any way. Who do you respect? Who do you listen to?
My doctor. I do everything he tells me.
Do you find that there are young people coming around to you and trying to seek you as the Ezra Pound of today?
I notice a great deal of deterioration in the moral fiber of our young people as I make my way across these United States, you know. But
do you have any philosophies or any tenets about writing?
yeah, never sleep with a girl named Ruby and never play pool with a guy named Fats. You know?
Are you a pool player? Are you a pool player?
A little.
Your new album, when do you anticipate recording that and producing it?
Well, it was, I had to postpone it because I came on the road, and originally I was going to title it White Spades, and I had a little difficulty convincing my record company that it was a palatable and merchandisable title. So I changed it to On Heart Attack and Vine, and they bought that. And I'm going to go in the studio in December and record. Yeah. And then I'll go back out on the road again. I'm going to Japan and Europe and Australia. And yes, I'm a busy man. Yeah.
Can you talk about your childhood a little bit? How you got into music and poetry, and was there any one startling revelation that hit you one day, and you realized that you had a vision, and you had to find that vision?
No, it was nothing like that. Nice try. Wasn't nearly as romantic as that, you know. I just kind of narrowed it down. There wasn't anything else that I wanted to do, you know. Everything else looked real unattractive to me.
Baseball.
You know, fireman, you know, baker, policeman, you know. I'm a living, breathing example of success without college, you know.
How far along did you get in school?
How far?
Yeah, did you get through high school?
Yeah, I got through high school. High school was not very good to me.
No?
I had a lot of problems, personality conflicts primarily, you know, with my instructors, you know.
With your instructors? Why, what were they flunking you?
No, I just had, you know, I was kind of what they call an underachiever, you know. I cut up a lot, you know. Half of my friends were like gangsters, and the other half had glasses and a skin problem, you know. So I was kind of caught in the middle of that, you know. I didn't know whether I wanted to become a professor or a hood, you know. So I'm somewhere in between, I think, now, you know. But I think school is a fascinating cultural and social atmosphere, you know. It's a nice place to meet girls, you know, and smoke cigarettes, and, you know. But I think that for education, I think you can learn all of that there is to offer within the structure of a curriculum. You can do on your own if you have enough discipline, you know. So I never enjoyed reading in school until I got out of school, and then I really, you know, started hanging out in used bookstores and stuff, you know. And that's how I started, you know, getting interested in American literature and all. And so, you know.
What kind of things do you read?
You know, I like detective novels and stuff. I like this guy Richard Price, who wrote Blood Brothers and The Wanderers, and I like Hubert Selby Jr. So a lot of great writers coming out right now. You know, I think the '70s, most of them kept their mouths shut, and that, you know, in the next 10 years, we're going to find a lot of important literature come out. You know?
In your younger childhood, were you the same street person that you talk about now in your work?
When I was a kid?
Yeah, I mean, were you into the? Did you live the kind of life that you talk about now? Do you want this?
Well, when I was a youngster, I stayed home when I was a child. You know, I wasn't out on the streets when I was a little boy. You know? When I left home, I got in a little trouble. You know? But I had a normal childhood. My father is a teacher, and my mother is also a teacher. They split up when I was about 10 years old, and then I kind of became the man of the family, you know. And you know, worked a lot of jobs. When I was 14, I started working, and when I was 16, I got a car. You know, I started, you know, staying out after dark a lot. You know. Still.
What doing?
Huh?
What doing?
Oh, you know.
Well, listen, hey man, I appreciate you coming along. This is the second time around, and
Yeah.
this guy's a hell of a guy for doing this again. Really,
All right.
I appreciate it. Okay, take care. I appreciate it. Here, you might as well finish this up here. I mean, I'm not gonna take this stuff left on the bottom here. Well, there was always